Hi, my name is Grace Bruning, and I'm a dietetic intern through the Lenore Ryan University Dietetic Internship Program. Today, we're going to be talking with you guys about the importance of sleep and the link that lack of sleep has with obesity. And we're going to be talking to you about different tips that you can use to prevent this in your preschoolers. I have a quick PowerPoint presentation to give to you all, so let's get started. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to be giving you some background on the link between sleep and obesity by showing you some studies that have been proven in the past. We're also going to be talking about how much sleep is enough sleep, so how much sleep your preschooler should be getting as opposed to how much sleep you should be getting. We're going to also be giving you some sleep tips to help maintain a nighttime routine and also give you an example of a routine that you can follow in the future. So just a little background, approximately 13% of children ages 3 through 11 are overweight in the US. This puts children at risk for heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and other health concerns. As you guys all probably know, a good night's sleep is a key to a good health and a healthy weight. If we look back to 1998, 35% of American adults got 8 or more hours of sleep. And if we look to about over 10 years ago, 25% of American adults got 8 or more hours of sleep. So we can kind of assume that that rate has also declined. Lack of sleep could be a contributor to the obesity epidemic that we see here in the US. If we want to look at the correlation between sleep and childhood obesity, studies find an association between little sleep and increased weight. Sleep deprivation may influence weight through appetite, so it causes kids to reach for those sugary food items to give them energy throughout the day. It also contributes to physical activity, or physical inactivity causes laziness there as well. Also, thermoregulation, which is important to consider. Other factors could be parents' obesity and television time that can correlate with sleep. If we want to look at specific studies, researchers recorded the sleep habits of about 915 children at the age of 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years using questionnaires and in-person interviews. So at each visit, they recorded an infant's length and weight and had parents report on number of hours their children watched television or videos. So the study showed that children who slept less than 10 hours per night at age 3 had a 45% higher risk of becoming obese at age 7. Infants who slept less than 12 hours per day had twice the odds of being obese at age 3. And other associations with shorter sleep durations were introduction of solid foods before 4 months and also infant TV viewing. And then the last study we're going to look at was a small study that had 5 girls and 5 boys who usually got plenty of sleep, including their regular afternoon naps. For 5 days, all of these children followed a schedule that included adequate sleep. Then for 1 day, the children were kept awake for an additional 3 hours and denied them of their nap. So the next day, what we saw was that these sleep-deprived children consumed 21% more calories than usual, 25% more sugar than usual, and 26% more overall carbohydrates than usual. So children, just like us adults, eat more when they are not getting enough sleep. So now let's look at how much sleep is enough sleep. Preschoolers typically need about 11 to 13 hours each night. Difficulty falling asleep and waking up are common, so those are not anything to worry about at this age. Nighttime fears and nightmares, this is the typical time that they begin to kind of have those night terrors. Also, sleepwalking and sleep terrors peak at this age. So what can we do as parents to ensure that our preschoolers are getting an adequate amount of sleep? We can avoid overload schedules, which these lead to stress and difficulty coping with a normal schedule. It also contributes to poor health and sleep problems. So maintaining a balanced schedule is really important. So identifying and prioritizing activities that allow for downtime, kind of the relaxing activities towards the end of the night, and also trying to maintain a consistent bedtime. So for example, having your child go to bed between the window of about 9 to 9:30 each night is reasonable. Other sleep tips include maintaining a regular and consistent sleep schedule, like we talked about before, a consistent bedtime, but then you also want to consider a consistent time for them to wake up every morning in the window of about 30 minutes. Also, a consistent sleeping environment is important, so maintaining a cool, quiet, dark room or a temperature that they prefer. It's also encouraged that there is some sort of noisemaker to cancel out all of the distracting noises that may be happening downstairs in your kitchen, for example. So maybe a just a sound maker with white noise. Also, we want to try to avoid televisions in the kids' rooms where that light can kind of trick their minds into thinking that it's daytime. It's also important to maintain a relaxing nighttime routine, so calm, soothing activities throughout the night, such as bedtime stories. And a winding down time is important, and having your children recognize that you are having your winding down time. So now we're going to go through a typical nighttime routine that you can use with your preschoolers to prepare them for bedtime. The first one would be to have a healthy, balanced snack that includes carbs, fats, and proteins, and is served about 45 minutes before bedtime. An example of one of these snacks could be a peanut butter and fruit sandwich. Also, you could do apples dipped in peanut butter. You could do a small bowl of oatmeal with nuts and seeds. Or you could do whole wheat crackers with cheese. And then after the light snack, kind of going into a normal bedtime routine. So maybe taking a bath, that could be a relaxing activity that can kind of ease the mind. Then putting on pajamas to kind of promote that comfy, cozy environment as the child gets ready for bed. Brushing teeth is important for normal hygiene. And then reading a story and a bedtime story can also promote that ease of mind and kind of take their mind off of distractions that happened throughout the day. You also want to make sure that the room is quiet as the child goes to bed and at a comfortable temperature that works for them. Then putting your child to bed and saying goodnight as you leave the room and trying not to come back into the room as much as possible. The obesity epidemic in children also put children at risk for a condition called sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is characterized by involuntary breathing pauses during sleep, which can be nearly impossible for sufferers to enjoy a night of deep, restorative sleep. A lot of children with sleep apnea often feel sleepy during the day, so their concentration and daytime performance suffer. Since there is an increasing rate of childhood obesity nowadays, that also equivalents to an increasing rate of sleep apnea. So we, as Americans, need to be aware of this condition. So what are different symptoms that you can look for in your children who may suffer from sleep apnea? One of these symptoms could be snoring, which is often associated with pauses, snorts, or gasps throughout the night. Secondly, you want to look at heavy breathing while your child is sleeping. Also, very restless sleep and also sleeping in very unusual positions. Bedwetting is another symptom of sleep apnea. Daytime sleepiness or difficulty concentrating throughout the day and falling asleep in class. And also behavioral problems at home and also in school. So in conclusion, there is evidence that shows that getting little amount of sleep is a risk factor for obesity in infants and children, as well as in adults. And teaching children how to get a better night's sleep can lower this risk. There's little risk in encouraging healthy sleep throughout the lifestyle changes, such as consistent bedtime, limiting caffeine during the day, and limiting technology before bedtime. There's also obviously positive benefits from good sleep habits, such as boosting alertness in school and also at home, improving the mood, and enhancing overall quality of life. For further information about the different topics that we touched on today, you can visit Sleep for Kids at www.sleepforkids.org, or you can also go to the National Sleep Foundation, which touches on sleep in correlation with obesity in children.